Welcome back to Sports Addict, where sports it's all that matters. I know we're a couple of months away from the start of the 2024 NFL season. So in this video, I'm going to start predicting each team's record. But I'm going to start off with the Super Bowl champs, Kansas City Chiefs. But before I start my predictions, I watched a couple of two videos on NFL Expert giving their predictions. One of them gave you an 11-6 record. Another one gave you a 12-5 record. But I gave you guys a 13-4 record. So I'll get into that. So you guys' issues coming into the 2024 season is your guys' wide receiver core, linebacker, cornerback, and depth on defense. Here's why. I'll give you guys the most notable moves you guys did this season. You added quarterback Carson Wentz, wide receiver Marcus Brown, tight end Irv Smith Jr. Your departures were William Gay Jr. So that's why I put linebacker. It's going to be an issue. Then you guys lost two corners, Mike Edwards and Kearney Sneed. But you added wide receiver Xavier Worthy, offensive tackle Kingsley, tight end J.R. Willie, safety Jaden Hicks, O-line Hunter, cornerback Kamal Hayden, and guard C.J. Hansen. So those are you guys' moves during the offseason. So I'll get to why I gave you guys a 13-4 record. First game, week one, you're playing against the Ravens. Their issues coming into the 2024 season is the online. So I know you guys supposedly are gonna struggle with, the linebacker, quarterback, and not having enough depth on defense. But you guys have a good off defensive coordinator in Spanola. So I feel like he's gonna exploit that offensive line because most of the offensive line have not, actually started in the NFL. So I feel like you guys will, like I said, your defensive coordinator will find a way to exploit that offensive line of the Ravens. So I give you guys the win over the Ravens. Then with the Bengals, possibly there's a couple of issues, but I don't feel like they will impact the game. T. Higgins was a problem because he was not signed. He just got franchise tag, so I don't see that problem. Money problems, like there's a lot of players. They need to renew their contract with the Bengals, so that can be a distraction for them. Then their defensive line. I mean, they did draft a couple of defensive line, but they lack in that area. And then Joe Burrow's health. You know how Joe Burrow has not been healthy the last couple of seasons, but somehow I see the Bengals beating you guys despite their defensive line struggles and Joe Burrow's health. So I give you the loss against the Bengals. Then you have the Falcons. Their issue is how well is Kirk Cousins gonna play, and then the tension between Cousins and the Falcons coach. You know how they signed Cousins to a deal, long term deal, and then they drafted a quarterback. There's probably gonna be a lot of tension there. Because you don't sign a obviously you don't sign a quarterback and then you draft another quarterback after giving the quarterback you sign a long term deal. So that's why I give you guys the win over the Falcons. Then we have the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh just signed with the Chargers as a new coach. The Chargers struggles is the run game. I mean, they have running backs, but they get injured a lot, so then they don't have a number one receiver. Almost all their receivers have not proven themselves, so I don't see them. I mean, it's gonna take time for them to adjust how Harbaugh wants to play. So that's why I'll give you guys the win over the Chargers in the first matchup. Then you guys have the Saints after the Chargers. Their problems coming into the 2024 season. It's not enough moves made in the offseason. They did not sign a lot of players. They only signed a receiver, an edge, and a linebacker. That was the only notable moves. During free agency, there were a couple of moves in the draft, but not a lot. And then Carr and Dennis Allen have to prove themselves. It's a make or break season for both of them. And supposedly the Saints have to win the NFC South. But like I said, they did not sign a lot of moves, so they did not do a lot of moves during the off season. So I don't see how the Saints are gonna compete against a good team like the Chiefs. So I'll give you guys the win over the Saints. Then you guys have your bye week. After your bye week, you play against my Niners. Our issues are off the field worries due to the contract. If you guys been focusing on what the talks are of the Niners, trading Debo, Brandon Ayuk, all that, but we're still a good team. I mean, the Super Bowl was a close game, and I feel like it's gonna be another close game. But I see my Niners taking the win over the Chiefs. Then you guys have after the Niners, you play the Raiders. The Raiders' issues coming to the 2024 season is having a quarterback one. They have Minshew and Aiden at quarterback, but they don't know who's gonna start. So it's basically the question is who's gonna be quarterback one, and then they're having issue with yards per game. They have 289.5 yards per game, the lowest in 2013, I think. And the other thing is trading Adams for more depth on defense, since they have a good defense supposedly from what I saw, from what I heard from the experts when I was watching the videos. So I mean, the main issue with the Raiders quarterback one, who's gonna be quarterback one? I mean, if you don't have a quarterback in this league, you basically gonna struggle to win. So that's why I give you guys the win over the Raiders. Then the Bucks, there's not a lot of notable moves the Bucks did this offseason, but they have a new OC, so it can be a struggle adjusting to the new OC. Especially, I feel like it's gonna be probably somewhat of a struggle for Baker with the new OC. So I'll give you guys the win over the Bucks. Then you play the Broncos. Their question mark for the upcoming season is how well Bo Nix is gonna play, and if he has like the right supporting cast. But if he doesn't, who's gonna play? I mean, they have Wilson, but Wilson has not proven to be a good quarterback. So even if Bo Nix doesn't play well, they put Wilson in, but it's still like the same thing. But that's why I give you guys the win over the Broncos because they don't have an established quarterback. Bo Nix supposedly is, but see. I don't know if they have the right supporting cast for him to help him succeed. Then you guys have the Bills. Their issues is wide receiver help. They lost a couple of pieces. Supposedly, from what I saw from the expert, they're saying that maybe the Bills took a step back. They lost a couple of key players. So, I mean, they did make they made a couple of moves during the offseason, but I don't think it's enough. Like I said, they lost a lot of key players this offseason. So, I don't know if they're taking a step back or with the players they signed will be enough, especially losing Diggs, to the Texans. So that's why I'll give you guys the win over the Bills. Then the Panthers, their issues is the O line, the owner, but the owner I don't feel like is the most important thing for the Panthers. It's the O line. Like I say, you guys supposedly you guys gonna have you guys have depth problems on the defense, but like I say, you guys have a good offensive defensive coordinator. I mean, and he's gonna exploit that O line. I mean, the Panthers did sign a couple of O line players, but I don't feel like it's enough for them to protect Bryce Young. So I'll give you guys the win over the Panthers. Then we have the Browns. The only issue with them is Watson and their tight end depth. Depends how well Watson plays. It will determine how far the Browns go this season. But I feel like it's going to be a close game since the Browns have some very good players, a good defense. But I still give you guys the win. It's going to be a tough matchup, but I still give you guys the win over the Browns. Then the Texans. The Texans made a lot of moves, but their questions is how will CJ Stroud play? And if Stephon Diggs is not a distraction for the Texans, if he's not happy, there's going to be drama with the Texans. But somehow I see the Texans beating you guys. They have a lot of talent. They did a lot of moves this offseason, so I see them somehow beating you guys. Then you guys have the Steelers. Their problems is wide receiver, cornerback depth, offense, and they got a new offensive coordinator. I know they have Russell Wilson at quarterback, but I don't know how he and the new and how the offense is gonna work with the new offensive coordinator. So that's why I give you guys the win over the Steelers. So that's your guys' schedule. And like I said earlier, I give you guys a 13-4 record at the end of this season. But like the question I asked, what is the most likely record for the Chiefs in your guys' opinion? I give it 13-4. I watched two NFL videos of the experts giving their prediction. One gave it 11-6, and one gave it a 12-5. So my question is, which records is the most likely to happen this upcoming season? Leave your guys' comments down below. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, this is Sports Addict, where sports, it's all that matters. Until